Which is weird, you know, because Harry's talked so much about the genetic pain of being a royal and how he hated it. But he still wants his kids to do it.
The saga of Harry and Meghan Markle, a tale that seems to be less about royal duties and more about a royal escape. Picture this, a prince and his duchess, fleeing not from dragons or evil stepmothers, but from the insidious grasp of the British press and the relentless scrutiny of royal life. One would think that their departure was driven by family feuds and palace intrigue. However, it turns out the real reason behind their dramatic exit from the UK was something far more relatable and less glamorous, a desperate quest for mental peace and physical safety. So let's delve into the true motivations behind their transatlantic move and unravel the complexities of their journey. Harry and Meghan Markle left the UK primarily for their mental and physical safety, not due to issues with the royal family. In his memoir, Spare, Harry explains they fled in January 2020, fearing for their sanity. Author Omid Scobie noted Meghan never wants to return to England. Harry has also faced legal battles over his security level during UK visits, following their departure from royal duties. Their move to America aimed to prioritize their family's mental health, as Harry stated on James Corden's show. Their strained relationship with the royal family remains evident, with Harry making rare visits to the UK for specific events and family matters. Before the dramatic departure of Harry and Meghan Markle, cloaked in the rhetoric of mental health and personal safety, how noble, how convenient. Yet beneath this polished veneer lies a story riddled with contradictions and dubious motives. Consider their supposed quest for peace, fleeing the UK to escape the prying eyes of the British press, only to land themselves squarely in the heart of Hollywood, a place synonymous with relentless media attention. It's almost as if their stated reasons are as flimsy as the pages of a tabloid. How curious that their refuge is a place where paparazzi thrive and celebrity culture reigns supreme. If they truly sought solitude, perhaps a quiet countryside retreat away from the limelight would have been more convincing. Moreover, their lament over Frogmore Cottage, first disparaged as insufficiently grand, now mourned as a lost sanctuary, reveals a dissonance that is hard to overlook. One must question the sincerity of their distress. If this residence was so beneath their stature, why the subsequent outcry? It seems their narrative shifts conveniently to suit their needs, painting themselves as victims when it serves their purpose. Their legal battles over security in the UK further complicate their tale. Having stepped down from royal duties, they demand the same level of taxpayer-funded protection, yet proclaim their desire for independence. This selective approach to royalty, rejecting the responsibilities while clinging to the privileges, casts doubt on their authenticity. They want the royal brand without the royal burden, a pick-and-choose monarchy that serves their personal interests. In truth, their departure appears less about fleeing danger and more about crafting a new identity free from the constraints of royal protocol. Their move to America symbolizes a strategic repositioning, a shift towards a lifestyle that offers both the allure of celebrity and the autonomy to control their narrative. The irony, of course, is that in their pursuit of privacy, they have become more public than ever, constantly in the headlines, consistently feeding the media machine they claim to despise. So, as we peel back the layers of their departure, we uncover a story that is far more complex and perhaps less altruistic than they would have us believe. The real reasons behind their exodus seem entangled in a web of personal ambition, public image management, and a quest for a new kind of royal relevance, one that allows them to rewrite the rules to their advantage. Of course, I will never trust a word that comes out of Meghan and Harry's mouths without thoroughly examining it. This couple seems to have perfected the art of crafting a dramatic narrative around their lives, adding a new layer of color with each statement they make. We have seen them say one thing and do another too many times, making every declaration they utter suspect. Consider their proclamations about seeking privacy, only to participate in bombshell interviews with Oprah Winfrey and a slew of other television programs. If their true goal was to escape public scrutiny, these actions tell a very different story. Rather than shying away from the media, they seem to seize every opportunity to maintain their fame. Moreover, their stories often appear contradictory and inconsistent. On one hand, they accuse the royal family of not protecting and supporting them. On the other, they demand the same privileges and protections as when they were still fulfilling official royal duties. This inconsistency only heightens doubts about their true motives. As for their departure from the UK for reasons of safety and mental health, this becomes dubious when considering that they chose to settle in one of the media capitals of the world, Hollywood. If they truly feared for their safety, does it make sense to move to a place notorious for its invasions of celebrity privacy? Clearly, scrutinizing and reflecting on each word and action of Meghan and Harry is necessary. Only by doing so can we uncover the truths hidden behind their sophisticated performances and the dramatic stories they are crafting. Especially, I don't care why they left. I will if they come back or live off the UK taxpayer, and this is something I feel they are trying to do. They must be looking back and thinking, look at the rest of the royals all living the high life paid for by the taxpayer. We want some of that. Oh, Harry, do you mean the same grandfather that Harry and his current wife claimed faking an illness to entice you to visit your grandfather who was gravely ill? But Harry and his current wife speculated was totally healthy and was just trying to trick Harry into visiting the said Prince Philip. But did you ever apologize for doubting that Prince Philip was gravely ill? No, you did not. Just as you refused to visit the Queen because you had better things to do. Just as Harry has never visited his father-in-law, especially as you surmised that Mr. Markle's heart attack was not real. But it was real. And still, you never offered Mr. Markle any support either. Judging by the look of him, Harry's definition of sanity seems to diverge significantly from that of respected dictionaries. The very notion that he fled the UK to preserve his mental well-being becomes increasingly implausible when we scrutinize the choices he has made since then. Rather than seeking a quiet refuge, Harry and Meghan have plunged headfirst into the glitzy, high-pressure world of American celebrity culture, where privacy is even more elusive than it was within the confines of the British royal palaces. In essence, the narrative that Harry and Meghan have constructed about their departure is riddled with contradictions. Their professed reasons for leaving sanity and safety are not substantiated by their subsequent actions and choices. Instead, their behavior suggests a pursuit of fame and fortune, leveraging their royal connections to establish a new, profitable identity. This strategic repositioning, far from the noble escape they portray, reveals a deeper, more calculated agenda aimed at maintaining their relevance and influence on their own terms. And now I have to say that Harry is in a state of excess, a controlled and completely fake life. For example, the 25-hour flight to see Charles was a cover. Isn't it interesting that on the same trip he negotiated to pull out of another court case? Methinks it was a handy excuse for Harry, and then as a sideline he could cry, "I only got a few minutes." That's right, Harry is paying a heavy price for his stupid choice. For Harry, the pressure of living life under the constant scrutiny of the public and media has long been a reality. As a member of the British royal family turned global celebrity, every move he makes is subject to intense scrutiny and analysis, with even the smallest misstep capable of making headlines and shaping public perception. While the specifics of the blunder remain shrouded in mystery, its effects on Harry's life are palpable. The Duke of Sussex is said to be devastated by the fallout, grappling with feelings of regret and remorse over whatever actions led to the situation. Whether the blunder is related to his personal relationships, professional endeavors, or public statements, its repercussions are far-reaching and profound. In addition to the emotional toll, Harry may also be facing tangible consequences in his personal and public life as a result of the blunder. From strained relationships with family members to damage to his reputation and credibility, the fallout from the blunder may have lasting effects on Harry's future and the trajectory of his public image. Despite the challenges he faces, Harry is no stranger to adversity. Throughout his life, he has demonstrated resilience and determination in the face of obstacles, drawing strength from his experiences and convictions. As he navigates the fallout from the alleged blunder, Harry may find solace in the support of his loved ones and the lessons learned from his mistakes. In the ever-unfolding saga of Harry's life, this latest blunder serves as a poignant reminder of the complexities and challenges of living life in the public eye. While the road ahead may be fraught with obstacles, Harry's indomitable spirit and unwavering determination will undoubtedly guide him through the storm, towards a brighter and more hopeful future. Certainly Harry is living in a prison, not because of the cold stone walls or harsh iron bars, but because of the invisible chains of fame and the conflicting decisions that he and Meghan have personally made. Create. Instead of finding the freedom and peace they crave, they fall into a never-ending cycle of public attention and media pressure. It is an accepted fact that both Harry and Meghan have lied and lied and lied. So why is anyone taking any notice of what Harry or anyone associated with him is saying? Anything coming from the Sussex camp is not the truth. It is the convenient version of circumstances that they wish to project, to make people feel positively towards them at the expense of others. Unfortunately, they tend to forget what they said previously, so not only contradict themselves but also each other. Everyone knows this one. Harry left because his wife had no intention of staying. Everyone but Harry saw that. She was making deals and plans behind the scenes. Now it hasn't worked out how she expected. They would like a do-over, too late, and they deserve everything karma does to them. So this is actually very funny, both peculiar and comical. Harry's own words say he fled in fear of his life and sanity. Well, the Sussexes had full protection at that time, yet he still felt that way, so why is he fighting to get security back now if he didn't feel safe then? Of course, we know the answer to that, but those two don't think we have cottoned on to them. I hope his own words get used against him in court. Another day, another varying recollection. Was it safe? Was it the royals? Was it unhappiness with living in a fishbowl? So if it was safety concerns, why has Harry been expecting an apology from his family? I thought it was because Meghan was not returning borrowed jewelry and was sneaking about taking pictures of royal living quarters, along with berating the staff for which she dismissed the Queen's summons. Must have been humal dating, but her behavior is what got her exiled to Canada for a timeout. I think she will resort to anything at her disposal in order to get what she wants. The recording of the proposal, and I expect many other photos and recordings will be used when she has run out of money. Harry's proposal will be worth quite a lot of money. I also remember that she photographed William's children sleeping and got other pictures of the palace. Is she going to sell them? Or is she keeping them in case Harry decides to leave her? She is displaying typical narcs behavior, and living with her must be awful. It seems like any move to improve mental health has had the opposite effect. All this PR effort at explanation does not account for why his attacks on and accusations about the royal family started up from the time Harry left, plus claims of racism of UK citizens. Clearly, there is proof that they had the agenda to leave and capitalize on the link to the royal family right from the start. Some videos, like the proposal video for example, were obviously taken for a future docu, so they planned it all years ago. And then they played the victim card and assassinated the reputation of the royal family by telling lies. Their plan failed, fortunately, and all the world has seen them for who they truly are. To be honest, this one has different heads on her, changeable each day, and bones from one to another, and sees others cracking on with their ideas and thinks she can get to their pitch in life without starting at the bottom rung of the ladder. And as for Harry, he needs to remember he had been a working member of his family, a thing that many of us knew about years before he met Meghan. So who is he trying to fool? He intended to leave. Why was that? Because he was an idle person and an abrasive one. Sorry, Harry, you are not under the umbrella of our country's taxpayers. But it's okay, it's quick, and they're going to lose their titles. Harry was a hot mess as a teen and young adult. Booze, drugs, Nazi uniforms, naked nipple licking in Vegas, grabbing women's breasts, and all-around carelessness in public. At the same time, he was cute and funny, but I'm sure she worried about his uncontrollable public ways. Bring in a transparent, narcissistic, third-rate American actress, and I'm sure the concern was heightened. Add to that, Prince Philip and William warned Harry to take it slow and get to know her, meaning see through shallow narcissism. But Harry, being the petulant, uncontrollable man-child that he is, chose to ignore the red flags that knocked him unconscious. So Harry, being dumb and wanting to start a family with the narcissist, decided to marry. At this point, he's in his 30s, and the Queen likely knew he wasn't going to be able to find a respectable woman who would marry him, so she thought, oh well, he's the spare. What's the worst that could happen? What is the worst that could happen? I don't even think we've seen it yet. I don't even think it's gotten to 50% bad yet. The Hot Mess Express is only operating at less than one-half capacity. The best craziness is yet to come. Before, Meghan was banking on Elizabeth loving Harry enough and having a soft spot for him to not strip him of his title. She was also banking on Harry crying that Meghan needed her title too, so they could leverage it and the royal family to make more money. They wanted to try to outshine William and Catherine. Meghan was daring Elizabeth to strip her of her title, like she dared her to say something when she skipped an event to attend a tennis match. She was hedging that the Queen wouldn't strip her due to the family's love for Harry. That's why this financially independent statement was a farce, because Meghan would have been on the D-list in Hollywood, and he would have been a fry cook at McDonald's if they hadn't had those titles. I think the family shouldn't have acquiesced to any of Harry or Meghan's desires to keep their titles because it would have cheapened the cachet of being royal, even though I think royalty in itself is dumb. I'm certain Elizabeth agreed to let Harry marry reluctantly. She was hoping for the best, and this is what she got, a greedy, conniving partner for Harry. Meghan, for as long as I had known her, had been searching for A-list fame. Another farce was being a feminist when in fact she got where she was using men, but good for her, if she can live with it. But as they say, karma was. I wonder if you remember? Harry to Oprah, if they had given us what we wanted, we wouldn't have left. Harry on Amazon. I felt trapped and it was damaging my mental health. Harry on Netflix. Flight of Freedom. Harry and Spare. We had to leave because my wife felt bad about being treated unfairly. Harry and his demand for security. We were expelled. 5 versions told by Harry himself of why they left, not counting Scooby's versions. What does that prove? There are a lot of lies here. Nothing genuine or consistent came out of Harry's mouth. Of course, I believe that the person behind the scenes controlling all of this is none other than Harry's evil wife, Meghan. I'm really fed up with this couple. I always believe that one day they will be hit by karma, so until now I'm still waiting for that day to happen. Maybe soon Meghan and Harry will divorce because Meghan has discovered that Harry is not nearly as wealthy as she thought he was. It's noticeable that while the mega-rich have homes all over the world, they've just got the one. In the end of the day, they're just mere millionaires, but wanting a billionaire lifestyle. I guess they are living in controversy every day. And now do you want me to go deeper into Harry and King Charles's relationship? Very interesting, right? I won't keep you waiting any longer, I'll start right away. Whether it be Harry's startling choice to step away from royal duties, or the explosive revelations in his biography, it is possible that these actions have caused a divide between him and his father that cannot be repaired. Or are there conflicts and secrets that are more profound and intricate that have not yet been revealed? In this fragmented relationship, where every word and deed carries the shadow of secret schemes and undiscovered mysteries, we invite you to join us as we explore the intriguing and surprising twists that this relationship has to offer. Harry is not a target of King Charles's hatred. I am certain that he loves him as a son and is deeply upset by the fact that he has gone off the rails by drinking, taking drugs, wearing a Nazi outfit, and playing naked games in Las Vegas. I am convinced of this. This is a very typical example of a father's mental framework. Harry was provided with the best education that was available, but he was neither intellectual enough nor interested enough to make use of it. He claimed to have an interest in joining the military, so he was brought to Sandhurst, where he reportedly managed to pass with flying colors. According to his version of events, he was a powerful warrior who shot down 25 people from an attached helicopter without any remorse or second thoughts. Other accounts tell of him playing on his Xbox while being totally protected by the SAS. He did 2 stints in Afghanistan, about which there are many legends. It is unfortunate that Harry's basic narcissistic side has met up with an even more narcissistic woman who has turned him completely against the very people who have always protected him against his own narcissistic side, and he is now exposed to the world as his true self. Harry is and will continue to be a source of concern and a problem for the king. In point of fact, Harry is a weak and easily led individual, which makes him an ideal target for Markle. She imagined that being a princess, by marriage, would be nothing short of a Hollywood blockbuster, complete with opulence and wealth, and that she would be living in a palace with a large number of staff. The reality is somewhat different from that, and when she discovered that there was no castle with dozens of servants, but rather a very magnificent mansion in Windsor Great Park with 6 attendants, she was shocked. A hissy fit was thrown by her, and they both quit as a result. The worst part was that she had to work at being royal. There were then publications and television programs that all pointed the finger at the royal family and made charges that were completely without foundation. I am not sure why they are so astonished by the response. The king does not despise him, but the bulk of the British population does harbor such feelings toward him. It is my belief that Harry, on the other hand, is also a fan of King Charles. Due to the fact that he was the second-born, it is likely that he was deprived of everything that was available to him. I have a feeling that he is blaming his father for this, which demonstrates how foolish he is. He also holds his father responsible for the passing of his mother. Does not address the fact that she did not wear her seatbelt when she got into a car with a woman who was driving under the influence of alcohol. There is a good chance that she would still be alive if she had done just one easy thing. In addition, he despises the fact that he is in love with Camilla and that they are content. The dissolution of the marriage is attributed to Camilla, according to him. He was completely unaware of what had taken place. Harry has been provided with everything, but he has been unsuccessful in every endeavor. According to his own admission, he just messed around. He got into Sandhurst because his teachers helped him get better scores on his exams, and when he was there, he was chastised for racism. As was mentioned earlier, he had the best education in the world on more than one occasion. While he was serving in the military, he was disobedient to his duties and made multiple attempts to pass the pilot's license exam, but he was unsuccessful. Became a working royal, but he was one of the lowest donors. He was given Invictus with William, but he insisted that he did not want William. His initial complete contribution consisted of attending the annual general meeting and then the real games. I went on vacation for a number of months. Then there is Meghan. Due to the fact that he is a narcissist, he does not accept responsibility for his actions. As a result, he chooses to blame King Charles and Prince William for his shortcomings. Furthermore, he does not forget the passing of his mother, which he cites frequently as an explanation for his erratic behavior. Because he is a weak individual, he makes an effort to pull down the few individuals who actually love him in order to improve his own sense of self-worth. In the event that he is able to degrade and destroy others, then he will feel better about his own miserable life. Like hundreds or maybe thousands of other young people, Dirty Harry is dissatisfied with his parents since they are the ones who are always right. They are under the influence of drugs, despite the fact that they are quite knowledgeable, engage in activities such as drinking, engaging in drug use, and being a nuisance to others. This group of intelligent idiots wants their parents to foot the bill for everything they do. Dude, Dirty Harry is one of those extremely intelligent idiots. The people who were standing close to him were loading his gun while he was engaged in combat. His boots were being polished, and he was washing his jocks. Because of his intelligence, he was unable to locate a woman. When he wanted to move out of his parents' house, he wanted the staff to cook and clean for him. He was extremely brilliant. Because he was so intelligent, he turned out to be nothing. It is also important to note that his actions are malevolent and intended to create mental distress and embarrassment. I am aware that it is impossible to disentangle the man from his deeds, regardless of whether Meghan is the one who provoked him into certain actions or whether he is the one who bears the responsibility. When the inevitable occurs and Meghan has exhausted all of the opportunities that come with being a member of the royal family, even if it is only in a supporting role, she will go on with her life outside of the royal family. As Harry is fragile and will require assistance, this will be a period when he will require the support of his family. William was extremely seriously affected by Harry's charges that were made in his book, and I am not convinced that he will simply embrace him with open arms. The king is also in anguish, but I don't believe he would abandon his people under those conditions. On the other hand, Harry has caused so much harm and suffering that it is not going to be a rerun of the story of the prodigal son if he does attempt to return to the fold. He has been acting in a manner that is reprehensible, and as is the case with everything, there are consequences. Despite the fact that Harry has never been responsible for anything positive, he prefers to play the role of the victim and place blame on others. It is so funny that Harry is really disappointed in His Royal Highness Prince Charles, his father. This is due to the fact that Harry is always expected to get what he has always gotten, but he did not do his homework before allowing Meghan to convince him to step down as a senior working royal. He did not fully understand that the only thing he would be taking with him was his own money, and nothing else. It never ceases to amaze me how incredibly ignorant and out of touch Harry really is. Is he so privileged that he does not pay attention to the specifics of any responsibility that he has? In all seriousness, it seems as though he is incapable of thinking for himself, which is a risky development. Despite the fact that Meghan believed she was being smart with her master plan of departure, Harry should have been the more prudent one to actually counsel with the top three, as I sometimes refer to them, in order to secure a safer transition. It wasn't him. As soon as Harry handed Meghan the reins, they were off and running. They have been plagued by scandal on a daily basis ever since it began to follow them. The entire time that Harry has been alive, he has been raised within the British royal family. In spite of the fact that he ought to be more knowledgeable than anyone else about the operations of the British royal family, he seems to be unaware of the fact that if you do not work, you do not have the luxury of receiving the perks that come with the job. That Harry is entitled simply because he was born into the royal family is not a valid argument for entitlement. Things do not operate in that manner. In the same way that previous members of the royal family have had their lives severely altered as a result of the choices they have made, Harry is not an exception. All he is another one. Even after he resigned from his position as a senior working royal, Harry expects to be granted a splendid property that he did not purchase. This is a major source of frustration for him. The continuation of an annual payment that supported his working service, the maintenance of a fully staffed office to continue his private tasks, and the maintenance of a fully staffed and paid-for household were all things that were not offered to royals who were not working. This is yet another example of how things do not work. The fact that he is the son of a future king does not allow the rules to be altered in any way. All of the things that Harry has plainly taken for granted are now his responsibility to pay for. That would be a terrible mistake to not cherish such a privilege. In a nutshell, Harry has no justification for feeling dissatisfied with Charles. On the other hand, Charles has every reason to feel a great deal of disappointment in Harry. Harry has made himself a complete and utter mess by his own actions. Harry is aware that he is causing his father suffering, and he is doing so. On the other hand, I am not very enthusiastic about Harry. I am unable to tolerate him in any way, shape, or form. There was a public announcement that Harry was diagnosed with attention deficit disorder, ADD. He is incapable of filtering information and is unable to concentrate for an extended period of time, which prevents him from genuinely listening to what is being said. This results in a lack of attention. The personality illness and brain disorder known as Harry is the result of adding narcissism to the mix, which is not a diagnosis that can be made until an individual reaches the age of 18 years old. The guru of Doria thought that natural herbal substances were better and removed Harry from his prescribed medication after he had been taking it properly. Can you recall that? The man's attention deficit/hyperactivity disorder brain was not wired correctly to begin with. That mind that is under the influence of alcohol, cocaine, magic mushrooms, marijuana, and ayahuasca, the outcomes are plainly seen by all of us. He is a terrible person. On the other hand, he is subject to some really harmful and radical influences which come from his wife, her mother, and drugs. Every single one of them is pure poison, and they all have an effect or influence on his ability to manage his behavior, thoughts, memories, and words. Furthermore, we must all acknowledge that he was born with a disability. Is it possible that King Charles is taking a cautious approach because he is aware of how potentially dangerous Harry's mental health is at the moment? To be sure, in any case, who can say for certain? In any event, the outcome is not going to be favorable. Well, that's all for today's video. Thank you very much for watching our video, and I want to know what you think about these issues. Please express your opinion in the comments below. Hope you will always be cheerful and happy. Don't forget to support us by liking, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. Goodbye and